Give me a sign. Now is the time.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Boomband Showcase. I'm your host, Jeff Taylor. We got a great set of guests today. I can't wait to jump right in. Let's go. We're here at the Boomband Showcase. I wanted to welcome all of you. I see Tony, I see Michelle, I see Hector. Madison, you helped us put this together. Say hi.
Hey guys, welcome to the showcase.
And then we have a mystery guest with us today. And just to explain that concept, part of the showcase is to highlight real people doing real things, that behind the resume, there are these people that have these experiences and have these ideas. And one of the things I thought would be fun is to get somebody else involved that you didn't know who it was, that could be asking questions, giving feedback, listening to you guys throughout the show. And then at the end, we'll reveal the mystery guest. Let her give you some suggestions or things that she's observed. And then we'll find out more about what she's like and then find out if there might be some opportunity to do some work together after the show. So welcome to the Boomband Showcase. I thought we'd start out just with a little conversation. Maybe each of you can say hi. And just for some topic, there's a lot of chatter about AI right now and how AI is like impacting the job search process. And this doesn't have to be particularly technical. I'm kind of curious of how AI enters into your world around your job search process. And welcome, everybody.
Yeah, I'll kick us off. So Tony Braun, based out of Westfield, Indiana. So about 30 minutes north of Indianapolis. AI for me, it's the new frontier, and it's trying to decide. There's so much noise. What's the best way to use it? The tools, and also not overusing it, right? So it's, I don't know. I think that's how do you figure out the best way to use it?
So Michelle, introduce yourself. Where you're from? Tell me a little bit about your AI experience.
Yes, I'm Michelle. I'm from Weymouth, which is a little bit south of Boston. And my AI experience has been awesome. I use it for everything, job search related. But I also use the app on my phone to ask, give me the checklist of what every freshman in college needs for their dorm. So my son's going off to school in a couple of weeks, and I use ChatGPT for everything. Thank you notes, cover letters, not my resume, because I had a career coach for that. But I love it.
And Hector, tell us about you and your experience.
Yeah, well, Hector Cantua, based out of Richmond, Virginia, which is about 90 miles or so south of Washington, D.C., so mid-Atlantic. My use with AI has really evolved. I started with Gemini. I primarily now use ChatGPT. I've used it a ton more for interview preparation. So, for example, I'll ask it some prompts about, what are some of the most important events that have happened with the company that I could maybe speak to. Even help with the creation of some questions at the end of the interview that maybe I hadn't thought of quite enough. It's really starting to become more and more. I wouldn't say I was a late adopter to AI, but I was I know it's the future, but I was skeptical. But I said, what do I have to lose? And do I think this is going to be the future? Absolutely. So it's becoming more and more of a bigger tool in my toolbox for sure.
So what I want to do now is I want to go and do more of a deeper one-on-one dive with each of you. And what I'm going to do is invite each of you to go over to a separate room. And what we're going to do there is Madison will kind of synthesize your background, and then we'll have a little bit, maybe a little bit more intimate chat about what it really is that makes you tick and how do we get you to stand out from the crowd.
Let's start with Hector. Hector, why don't you pop into the breakout room first? Michelle, Tony, you hang here, and when Hector's back, he'll grab the next candidate to bring him over to the other room. I had the pleasure of chatting with Hector a little bit this week, which was great. Also between that and the resume, we've learned that Hector is from Virginia. He is an accomplished clinical engineer and leader in the medical device industry with experience in neurosurgery, chronic pain, and spine specialties. He has led major clinical research initiatives, new therapy launches, and global training programs. He's consistently improving clinical outcomes, reducing waste, and elevating his team's performance. He's recognized for building highly engaged teams, designing scalable education systems, and aligning corporate and field operations to drive innovation and profitability. A fun fact about Hector is that he earned his MBA in 2022. He graduated with a 4.0 while simultaneously succeeding in his role as a senior principal field clinical engineer and being a dad to 2 boys. He has authored clinical publications, he holds 2 patents, and he's received multiple awards for research excellence and leadership. Hector's looking now for a position that allows him to continue his growth where he can utilize his MBA. If the right opportunity presents, he is open to pivoting industries where he can leverage his skill set to further engage in team leadership and overall business development. We're so happy to have you, Hector.
Wow, Madison, that was quite the introduction. You nailed it. That was great. Thank you.
What did she miss?
I think the biggest thing is, and it's nothing that you would see on a resume, is purpose. Why the why behind those accolades and those activities that you just mentioned. And I really do believe that the reason I've been successful in my career is really because of the sense of purpose of why I do what I do. And that's really been my real main driver over my tenure.
When you talk about sense of purpose, I see you've been kind of run diversity and inclusion initiatives, and you're very active in your community. Can you give me a little sense of kind of like who you are and how that impacts your work in positive ways? Yeah,
I mean, so I'm somebody who grew up in San Diego, and my dad's Navy, so he's had a real strong work ethic as part of our upbringing, and so it was not easy. It was not easy. And growing up, we didn't come from means, and so it was always a fight. It was always difficult to get accepted to school. I was told from my high school counselors to be a plumber. That would have been the best job for me, is to go into plumbing. So going from that to earning a bachelor's degree, and then doing some pretty amazing things in terms of just experiences with patients and people, and really leaning into the medical device side. It's been a common thread of challenge. And I think as part of that, when you start to grow and you start to succeed, 2 things can happen. Either you get a chip on your shoulder that I've conquered the world, I've gone through really difficult things, and I'm hit the mountaintop, or it kind of keeps you humble in terms of, hey, I've been there before, I could be there again. And so for me, it's been really more of the latter. I really try to think of all of the things that I've gone through, and it's really brought me a deep sense of humility.
When I talked to you, I felt like you're a driver. Tell me a little bit about being a principal, like field engineer in your field, and like your goals, and you've been pushing, and I think in the end your company kind of took a different direction than where you wanted to go, but they put you through school and gave you a 6-month runway. And I know some things from interviewing you that it's pretty impressive, really. And then it's sort of like you as a package now feels strong, and then it's like, how do you get yourself out of that resume so people can really see how good you are?
Yeah, I mean, that's really been, you nailed it on the head. That's been the struggle. When I've gone into different opportunities for interviews, those sort of things, I've done great, for the most part. I think it's a lot of, when I speak with folks, with networking and having conversations, it's really having an authentic conversation about what is it and what is it not? And is this really something that I can do, or is this really something that we just need to fail fast? And so I come at it from a sense of efficiency. It's been, I did make the decision to resign. My company didn't want me to resign, so they gave me a consultancy for 6 months. But it was, it was really the reason why was really because I wanted to bet on myself. I wanted to bet on myself to say, hey, I'm going to transition. I've been looking for people leadership. I've always been an individual contributor, and business strategies change, and that's fine.
Have you been a manager?
I have for a little bit, yeah. I had about 2 or 3 quarters with a major medical device company, the world's largest medical device company, where I was a people manager for our engineering team, and then a restructure happened again, and then that was transferred to somebody else.
If I've got it right, when you're a field engineer, though, you go into something with technical people and business people, and you're kind of a bridge, right? Is that fair?
It is. It's really the Swiss Army knife. I think there's really no role that is like that. It's really I like to say the field thinks I'm corporate, corporate thinks I'm the field, and in that gray area is really where I live. So I translate processes, information, techniques, etc. Up and down. So from the field level, what is the voice of the customer, and bring that up, and vice versa.
My point is, it's funny how you talk about it as process, but it's all people, right? So you're managing people. It may not be like your formal title, but you're in every one of these situations. You're managing people, trying to get the best out of the engineers, the best out of the business people, pulling from the client. And so I think maybe you could change that narrative a little bit just to, kind of capture that and say, I just want to do it more formally. I want to take on some bigger teams. One of the things I always like to ask, and Madison knows she's on the team with me, like, what's your superpower? Like, what's the thing that makes you stand out? It could be something that comes out in certain situations, and it doesn't have to be the most serious thing. Somebody said their superpowers that was they could neigh like a donkey, and I'm like, oh God, I have to hear this. And then, there were 30 people in the room, and there this woman was like a friggin' donkey in the room, right? Like she could neigh like one, and it's like, okay, so superpower doesn't have to be so serious. But tell me about yours, Hector.
Yeah, I would say my superpower is that I suffer well. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but I suffer really, really well, and I almost enjoy it. I did triathlon in college, cycling. I've done a bunch of cycling in Europe, and it's always been part of really my DNA. And it's almost like the harder it is, the harder I dig in, and maybe that's just. Maybe I'm stubborn. I don't know, but I suffer really, really well.
That sounds like grit.
Yes.
All right, I wanna go into actually mystery guess. Any thoughts here? Any questions?
No, I'm getting a very good view of you. I would play with chat a little bit more, less on how you match and how you leapfrog. I think there's too much comparative work on chat. I use chat, but I think based on everything you know about me, the other thing that I do with chat that I don't know a lot of, I have loaded everything into chat. They have my predictive index. They have every assessment I've ever done. They have my astrological chart. So I have loaded in every ounce of data into my chat because it isn't just a people resume spit out. It is a database that can synthesize so much information. And the fact that you have this grit and this athletic prowess, I used to work for a company that hired Olympic athletes in sales because they know they could go the distance. So there's so much richer meaning to your life than your resume. And I want you to use chat to really expand on that a little bit more.
Thank you. That's very great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Good. All right, so a couple of fun questions. You're in a plane crash. I don't know if that's fun. Everybody seems to have survived.
You live.
So I don't know.
You check around and you're okay. What role are you going to play coming out of that plane crash?
Let me clarify the question a little bit more so I give you the answer. Is this on a desert island? Is this in the middle of New York City?
Let's say you crash in the woods. You don't know where you are.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, so this is where my medical comes in. Is everybody okay? Everybody move their arms, legs, that sort of thing, and let's get away from this. And then I think it comes into being resourceful. It's like, okay, how do we use the tools that we have around us to survive? And sometimes it gets really super duper creative. And so yeah, I mean, if there's a little bit of fire, hey, now we got a campfire. If there's a little bit of shelter, now we got shelter and a campfire. So I'm that guy who kind of thinks a little crazy and says, I think we can use X, Y, and Z to build A, B, and C.
Awesome. All right. Well, Hector, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I just want people to take a look at Hector. We'll have his resume available, and my hope for you is that by bringing a little bit more of your whole self, your human, into this picture, that people really see and want to know more about Hector. So, welcome.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, go.
Hector. You are a great candidate.
Thank you.
I mean, and you have a great skill set and a great background, and it would be my honor to try to help you.
Great.
Thank
Great.
you. I sincerely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So why don't you head back, and why don't you get Michelle and have Michelle come and say hi to us.
Sounds great.
It was really great chatting with you earlier this week to learn a little bit more about you. So again, we know you're joining us from Massachusetts today. You are a very seasoned human resource professional, and you have a really strong background in operations, compliance, and risk management. You've managed teams, you've improved onboarding processes, you've developed SOPs and implemented system enhancements across several leading financial and legal organizations. While you were doing all of that throughout your very successful career, you were also and still are a very devoted mom. You're extremely well spoken. You're a member of Toastmasters International. You also have your master's in HR management, and you bring hands-on expertise in the full employee life cycle. You have project leadership skills and also a lot of global HR compliance. You are passionate about networking and interacting with others. And as I mentioned earlier, I find it so fascinating that you even have a side hustle in the event industry, because that certainly requires great people skills, customer service, and thinking fast on your feet. You are actively searching for your next role, and you're truly open to all opportunities across any industry. You really want to use your rich background, your dynamic skill set, and your wonderful personality to enhance the next organization that you join.
Thank you. Yes, that's it. As I said to you, I'm a mom, I'm a woman, I can do anything. 30 years.
So what did Madison miss just in synthesizing your background?
Like you, Jeff, I like to say, like, I'm a joy master. I love joyful things. And I like to volunteer. I like to watch soccer. And what else? I craft, stuff like that.
Hey, I'm Katie Van Horn.
And I'm Jackie Clayton.
We're your hosts of the Inclusive AF podcast, where we take on DEI, leadership, and HR without all the corporate fluff.
That's right. We've got decades of experience, a lot of opinions, and zero tolerance for performative anything.
Every week, we dig into what it really takes to build inclusive workplaces with honesty, strategy, and a few side eyes.
We'll talk about the tough stuff, power dynamics, privilege, what's broken in the system, and how we can all do better.
And don't worry, it's not all heavy. We bring receipts, laughs, and real talk from people actually doing the work.
Think of it as your weekly dose of truth, tips, and a little tea to help you lead with intention and show up for your people.
So if you're ready to push past the buzzwords and get into the actual work of inclusion,
you're in the right place. So subscribe to the Inclusive AF podcast.
New episodes drop every week.
Catch us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll be here breaking it down one inclusive convo at a time.
I love my kids, my husband.
Yeah. Tell me, one of the things I heard you say is maybe I leave HR.
I know.
And so like you have a master's in human resources, and you have great experience with great companies. Let's hone in on this for a second. Like, so is it because you're hitting roadblocks, or what? Where are you? Where's your head at right now? What's stopping
Yeah,
you?
I mean, Jeff,
Right?
honestly, I think it's a couple of different things. I've been working in HR for 30 years. I don't regret a second of it, but I also feel like I'm kind of burnt out of HR. And I'm a recovering HR manager. I really want to do more purposeful work in an organization like a nonprofit versus corporate. And that's all. And it's for a couple of reasons. I would say one, because I've been burned a couple of times. And two, because I said, like, I need some real purpose. I want to apply my HR skills to just another industry. I've thought about guidance counseling. I've thought about admissions offices in high schools and colleges. I'm really good at giving advice even when people don't ask me for it. So, I mean, my family and naturally, I've made a very good career and good money in HR. So lots of people are like, why? Don't leave now. What do you mean? Because I still need earning potential for two kids in college. But I don't know. I'm feeling a pull to something more purposeful and maybe
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
So here's what I have been seeing with a lot of my clients, Michelle, and I have a background supporting HR, is the pull that you're talking about, it finds its way into your dialogue with the people that want to hire you. Because there's a lot of that chemistry. If you're at all, I don't want to say tortured, if you're ambivalent,
Yes.
the ambivalence, even though your voice is kind, your experience is great, when we go into an interview, it's a battlefield. So we gotta change our mindset, right? And if you have this purposeful side of you that isn't going to be expressed at this company, it's not the right fit. You're actually probably counting yourself out before you're in. So if I was going to work with you, and people don't understand what I'm saying until we start digging in, and hopefully we'll do a session together, your word choices are very indicative of how you will present to a company.
Okay.
So if the company is not purpose driven and you use purpose a lot, you will X yourself out.
Yes, I know that. Yes.
And it will be very subversive. There are a lot of subtle ways that we X ourselves out of a job. And I'm finding that, because there's so much more competition, especially in HR. HR is like, honestly, I've never seen the carnage that I've seen now. And then I said to myself, if I hear the word purpose and you want to go into another industry, let's build a plan that's going to appease that side of you. There are sites for nonprofits and charitable and grant writing, and there's a whole it's not even a cottage industry. It is, national brain tumor associations in Boston. You cannot imagine how many nonprofits and purpose-driven jobs are in the Boston area. So I would want to work on that, truly build you a plan instead of just making it words.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know that's
the thing that I always recommend is that if you want to change industries, and it's for me, it sounds like you'd really like to change industries and change jobs. Very tough to change two things at the same time. So one of the things I might hone in on, it would be to go look at HR jobs in not-for-profits. Because the bigger not-for-profits also have HR teams, and you might even express the fact that you love working with people, you love human resources, but you're looking for a change. And you also may need to get another job in the thing that you're really good at while you start to pivot in the background, and because you may need more runway. One of the things I hear, same as our mystery guest, almost said your name, that you're going to you're going to go into a situation and say, well, I don't know, I kind of interested, but I might be over HR. As soon as you say that, imagine if there's 20 candidates that are fighting for this role, and they're going to immediately put you in a category that says, okay, I'm not sure they're fully committed. So I think that's an easy no. And I don't think you want anybody to give you an easy no right now. I think you 100%. Want to fight for the strongest yes you can, right? You'd love to come in 2 or 3 because you got beat out by somebody that just has a little bit stronger skill set, or has built a stronger relationship with the SVP or with the CEO of the company. You don't want it to be because somebody thought that there might be a slight thought that you might go change to something else, right? It's funny, you're wearing a Boomband shirt, and that might be confusing for people. And we've got a campaign out right now with our company where we're basically inviting people to get a backstage pass. And if you do that, you can get a Boomband shirt. And so it's just... I have a lot of gratitude for the people that have supported our mission, and I want to call it out. Mine. So I want to make sure we show your personality in the middle of this. And I was thinking about if your life was a movie right now, let's have a little fun. Say like what would the music be to the opening credits in your movie?
It would be definitely it would be the soundtrack from Annie, because I love Annie. So the sun will come out tomorrow.
All right. So is the sun's going to come out tomorrow, no matter what? What are the other themes that are in that?
It's in the 20s.
That's hard. I mean, there's themes. There's the fighter theme, right? Like fight to be noticed, and to surprise. I think probably the Annie themes for you right now, Michelle, are perfect, right? Because what you weren't maybe what they expected, but once you get in, you're going to kill it. And so we just got to get you into that perfect situation. So one of the things that I like is like superpowers, and I think it's sort of a silly thing to have it work, but it kind of shows, it brings out something that you think is really your inner power. If I were to ask you what it is, what do you think?
Mine is I'm a connector. So, and the way I say that, I use the word networking. Maybe I like to talk a lot to people. So whenever I go to an event, whether it's a cookout or, it's a Chamber of Commerce meeting or something, I meet new people, and then I'll go on to the next person that I talk to, and then I find a connection and I say, oh my gosh, did you know that so-and-so works at Fidelity, or that this person also loves cats? And then I say, you need to meet. And I'll walk them over and introduce them and say, do you know each other? And then I go, bye. And I walk away. So I love to connect people.
Yeah. So how do you turn that superpower into getting your own connections?
I'm telling you, I have so many connections and so many things percolating right now. I'm just so optimistic something is going to give. It's just a matter of time.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's leave it at that. I just really happy to have you on the show. And I think people need to look at you as a potential HR leader who is really open to pivoting to bring their skills to the table in any number of different things, but maybe something with people, something in not-for-profits. So keep an eye on Michelle. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Thanks, Madison.
All right. Back to the group. Madison, take it away.
Cool. So Tony, as you mentioned earlier, you're joining us from Indiana today. What I've learned about you after chatting and looking at your resume is that you are a results-driven sales executive with over 20 years of experience. During that course of time, you've showcased a strong record of scaling teams, launching new market segments, and consistently exceeding revenue targets year over year. You have a deep experience in SaaS. You have hands-on leadership abilities, and that leads you to build high-performing teams and execute data-driven sales strategies. Your background has spanned anywhere from a startup to a large enterprise, with many notable achievements and awards along the way. Most recently, you were named the 2024 Global Sales Manager of the Year at your past company. You are a proud early adopter of AI in sales, and you bring strong technical fluency across modern RevOps tools. You're a true team leader and mentor to all. As you're on this next as you're searching for your next role, you're looking for a position that encapsulates all of your skills and past experiences, but truly you want to find your noble purpose. We're happy to have you here today to learn a little bit more about you.
Thank you for having me.
What is she missing, or what are we missing in your story here, Tony?
It's a good question. I think at its simplest, I'm a force multiplier. So when I come into companies, it's not only my number, but I create an environment that empowers people and brings out their best. And I do that, and I've done it multiple times at different organizations. And I think for me, that's what keeps me up at night, figuring how do I do this better and seeing people prosper.
Tony, can I jump in? I know Jeff's going to jump in, but that sentence is awesome. I want you to put that on steroids. There isn't a single sales manager alive that doesn't feel that they are responsible for numbers, not only for their teams, but for the company. So how can we tell that story in an even more interesting way that really gets somebody's attention? Because they're going to hear that from every candidate. But not the force multiplier. That's a strong entry point. Your sentence to support it is not nearly strong enough. Because it's somebody that's going to yawn across the table, not because you're boring, but because that feels like a ChatGPT sentence. I want to hear like a guttural reaction of how you're going to show me that's the truth. And you don't have to know now, but I'm telling you, I want to bring you from good to great.
Okay. No, I think it's a good point.
I guess when we were talking, you were like, I think things are going to start to happen, right? Like I'm kind of working some different angles on this, but you're like a head of sales. And so your job right now is to sell yourself like it's the hottest product in the marketplace, right? And so I think the question is, like, are you applying the same energy and the same kind of force multiplier that you're describing to your own search? And so I don't know what that means yet, but I think that when you're describing that as what you do, well, that should be what you're doing, right? Because I always say, like, you'll work 50 hours a week for somebody else, but most people, when it comes to their job search, 5 hours a week is exhausting, right? And I think you're a great example, and I think we talked about this a month or so ago. It's like, you're a great example of somebody I think can put the time in and push. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think I'm treating it, Jeff, this is back to the basics of selling. This is my prospecting. I'm finding my target accounts, which are companies, and I'm treating it like this is my job.
Is there something that's like stopping you from achieving your goal right now? Like, is there something in your head? Is something in the market? Like, what's your blocker?
For me, it's just I'm very new into it. 2 weeks, but there's just a lot of noise in the market, the different technologies, and so that's a blessing and a curse because it's I look at the industries I've been in, but there's so much changing with technology that some roles weren't there a month ago with the AI changing. So that for me is trying to figure out, like I mentioned it, I think, to Madison, is like, at the end of the day, what's my noble purpose? And what am I doing to help companies fix problems? And
so you're going to be a director of sales. What's your industry target? Like, what's your love? Like, if you could have the ideal job right now, name the company, name a couple companies. Who are you going after?
Gong. I love what they're doing with their technology and being able to use that in my day-to-day, coaching teams, coaching reps, understanding, where we're at in a deal room or in a deal process.
Right.
And then, we do a lot. One of the other companies that's caught my attention is just Shopify. I've been in that e-commerce space and just how they're changing their go-to-market offerings. It's very intriguing.
So how do you go from intriguing to going into battle with Shopify to try to figure out if there might be an opening there? Because I think your background, I bet there's an opening there, right? Because you're going to be opening commercial doors. My guess is they need that. So who's doing that right now? Who can you find in your network, on LinkedIn, to make that happen?
Well, that's really it. I've been looking at contacts that I've got that have connections there, reaching out to those individuals. I'm big on, in this day and age, pick up the phone. And I think that is what salespeople now are missing.
Yeah. As long as there's somebody that answers on the other side.
But you got to try. You don't know till you try.
No, absolutely. All right, couple of things to lighten things up a little bit. One of the questions I pull, I think it's perfect for you, is like, rate your ability to fight a bear. And let's go from just eat me to Mike Tyson. And what's your technique?
Is anybody with me?
No.
It would be
no, the bear.
Okay.
The bear is with you.
I'm crafty and adaptable. I'm going to go, and I feel like you didn't say what size bear, so this could be a little honey bear. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Okay.
I feel good. Probably good 6 or 7.
I'm kind of thinking the bear's the same size as you, which would be a small bear.
Yeah. Well, I'm 5'9". Come on.
Okay. Maybe that's a medium-sized bear, and claws are up. What are you going to do?
Run like hell.
All right. So some bears you're not supposed to run because they can run faster than you, right?
Well, this one though, there's a we didn't mention what kind of bear, but that's my first instinct would be run. I'm in Indiana. We don't know. We got cows.
All right. Tony, take charge of your career. You are a head of sales. You're award winning. Don't sit back. Anchor, push. And I think what you're going to find out is the more you push, the more doors are going to open slightly. And that's where you're going to be able to peek in and see what kind of opportunities. And I hadn't heard of another company, but Shopify needs you. You need to go figure out how to introduce yourself to them.
Amen to that.
Thanks for coming into our group. All
I
right.
support that completely and, run like a bear to the company.
Run like a bear to the company. That's right.
Here we go.
All right, Tony. We'll be back in the main room.
If you love your life.
So I wanted to introduce Donna. She and I have been basically in parallel careers. We've worked around each other, and we're both fighting on LinkedIn for attention. And it's just actually really, it's been exciting for me to have Donna here. Madison, you want to give Donna's background?
Yeah, so Donna shared a little bit of her bio with me. So she is a sought-after executive coach, speaker, and also the author of Unsuccessfully Successful. She is a former advertising executive. She has over 30 years of leadership experience in corporate America. She's known for her sharp insights, but also she says it like it is style, which I really like about Donna. She's a proud Bostonian. She loves her Boston Red Sox. Loyalty runs deep in her veins. She is a mom to 2 amazing adult kids. She's a lifelong word game enthusiast. Just don't ask her to play. And when she's not coaching or speaking, you're going to find her reading, traveling, or taking nice long walks. Her work is grounded in one core belief, and that is that success doesn't have to be hard, but you do have to define what it means to you. So we're really happy to have Donna with us. We're going to let her chat a little bit about it, but just such a great way to kick off our showcase. And Donna has so graciously offered to do one-on-one coaching sessions with each of you for an hour. So I'll be able to be that liaison post-show, and you'll get to have a little bit of that one-on-one time with Donna to just take Donna up on the very gracious offer.
Great. So So, Donna, before you kind of kick in, what's your superpower?
Intuition.
Yeah. And so being able to kind of see around the corner to what possibility might be there. And so what's your intuition about this group? Share a little bit.
My intuition about this group, I actually was pretty quick with my comments to people. So that generally is my intuition kicking in. Coaching is about you have the answers, not me. But if I feel something really strongly, I also was trained by a forensic medium during COVID because it was always a superpower of mine during my corporate career, and Jeff and I were in parallel. But I could walk into a room and tell you this was the decision maker, this person hates us. Hopefully none of you hate me. I'm not getting that read. Maybe Jeff, but we'll see. But what I get from this group, a little bit different, is just a very eager, capable bunch of people that should absolutely be working. And it's my honor to try to just tweak a little bit for what your gifts already are. We all have blind spots. Including me. I work with 2 coaches because I believe in the power of coaching so strongly.
Yeah. So I think we took some stuff away from our one-on-ones. And I think, Hector, for you, it's like, okay, you have this really interesting kind of crossover between engineer and field engineer and sales. And how do you bridge that gap from your experience you've had? Now put your MBA on top of it. You're ready to be a people manager. You're kind of like a slingshot being pulled back. So where are you aiming, right? And then I look at Michelle. Michelle is like a deep expert in human resources. And, but I think your own dream is starting to evolve. And so I think you maybe need to put a harder stake in the ground about your dream, and actually drive that stake, or go back and get that human resource job with conviction so you're ready in the next 2 to 3 years to drive that stake into your real dream job. I think you have to make that decision, and that's going to determine whether you're at a fork in a road and you're going to keep struggling in the path that you're on, or whether you're going to move to a new path. And I think, Tony, it's just like you need to apply that killer instinct that you are so good at in your, you're an award-winning, head of sales, basically, right? And so you've already done it for companies to the point where you're outstanding within a group of people in your company, right? But now you have to do it for yourself. And I feel like you need to bring your lion out. Like our example with how do you wrestle a bear? I would have loved to see these. I'd go up to that bear and we'd have a discussion. Like there's just no way you're going to eat me. If you're not careful, I'm going to eat you. But you were like, I don't know. I think I'm a 7. Right? Yeah, come on, wrestle that bear. And I think, Donna's last point was you need to go run like a bear, into that next opportunity. So, Madison, you get a word for anybody you want to share. And I want to say that I really appreciate your synthesis of people's backgrounds.
It was just so great getting to know you, and Donna, you as well. I think this is a great group for our inaugural kickoff, and I have no doubt that all of you are going to be well on your way to finding the next perfect opportunity really soon.
Donna, thank you for sharing your wisdom. And we'll set it up so you guys can either get together as a group or do one-on-ones, whatever you guys want to do. I'll make sure you have Donna's contact information so we can make it happen.
And thank you for having me. I really enjoyed meeting everybody and participating.
So this is the end of the first Boomband Showcase. We have actual human beings that offer a lot to any company out there that's looking for people. And also, if you're looking for a great coach, I just want to holler out Donna Starr. You can find her on LinkedIn, and we're going to keep talking more about Boomband, but it's all about helping people. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you next time.
All right, what a great show. I love hearing the stories. I like getting human. Get out from behind that resume and meet our players. If you're interested in any of them, email us at showcase@boomband.com. And give me a sign that you love your life. Come see us next week.